Hari Om and welcome to the contemplation of Aparoksha Anubhuti. So we just had a short discussion about, before we begin the Aparoksha Anubhuti, we usually have the Bhajagovindam or any such shloka as a Vedanta Dhyana. And we asked the question whether that particular Vedanta Dhyana has been helping. And Deepaji mentioned that it has helped her to look at various situations of her life and the situations which used to affect her earlier no more seem to be affecting. However, there is one particular topic about forgiveness. There are people still who seem to be doing things which she knows clearly are not right, and those kind of people, when they also are lying, it becomes very difficult to forgive. Though she is not reacting anymore, she is unable to forgive. Is that the correct understanding, Deepaji?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the question here is, what is forgiveness? Who should forgive? And why one should forgive? Can we consider the question in that way? Is that a right framing?
No, yes, sir. Theoretically, I know the answer, but application is difficult.
Okay, yeah. Let's begin with what you understand. Yeah.
Answer according to me is, if I don't forgive, that would be going on in my mind, and which in turn will affect me. I mean, that thing will be going on in my mind all the day, and then finally I would find my day to be wasted in that. So that would be the case if I don't forget.
Don't forget or forgive.
Forget and forgive if I don't forgive. But if I forgive, would that be the solution? Is that the solution for that problem? Is the question. I mean, then that person would continue with his or her way of lying, trying to prove me wrong, or blaming others for whatever their mistakes are. Is that okay?
Okay, so does forgiveness mean no further action from your side? Does forgiveness mean inaction? Is that your question? After forgiving, should I simply remain silent and don't do anything? Is that what forgiveness means? Is that what you are asking?
If we forgive, then we'll forget about what has happened and just go on with the person, whoever has done that to me, or anybody else whom I love. But if that is there still in my mind, that means that I have not forgiven that person.
Okay. So someone's behavior comes back again and again in the mind. Does it mean that I have not yet completely forgiven?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What is the viewpoint from Shilpa ji on this matter? Are you there?
Yes. I was thinking about the same thing, and how.
Sorry for interrupting you, Shilpa ji. Before you begin, let's welcome Rupa ji. Hari Om, Rupa ji.
Hari Om, Rupa ji.
Hari Om, everyone.
So we've taken up the question, Rupa ji, about forgiveness. What does forgiveness mean, and how do we apply that in our day-to-day life? Does forgiveness mean that I forget and I don't take any steps? As an example, if let's say someone is spreading some rumors about you, do I forgive? Does it mean that I don't do anything and keep quiet? So how do we handle such situations? What does forgiveness really mean? That's the question that has come up right now. And Shilpaji was about to share her views.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Shilpaji.
Yes. So forgiveness would be complete forgiveness would be to forget what the person has done with you and to behave with the person in a normal way. Which sometimes you tend to put those things behind, like complete forgiveness. I don't know, sir, if it is possible. You tend to ignore most of the times, and because you are in such a situation where you at times can't do much about it. In case if it's a person whom you hardly meet, or you are not interacting on day-to-day basis, yeah, maybe I think forgiveness becomes a bit easier. But when you tend to see that person day in and day out, it's a bit that's where the challenge is. So I don't know how it is, how you work towards complete forgiveness. So even I do have certain situations which I've been through.
Okay. How do you deal with it today?
So if so I ignore.
Okay.
I ignore, and now since you have that kind of knowledge, means you are learning Bhagavad Gita, you're learning the scriptures. So of course there is a certain change which happens within you on the inside. So yeah, I can ignore and I can put my best behavior or my best foot forward when I'm interacting with the person. But complete forgiveness, I don't know.
Okay.
But still, at the back of the mind, you have that, like this person said this about me. Why? The question why arise. So.
And how do you when such a thought arises, how do you deal with it? What do you do?
So when such a thought arises, you try to use logic. No, it's like, so you feel that that person is um how do I put it, sir? Is not knowing what he or she is doing, is not like so because we live amongst people who all are not into who have knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, or who have knowledge of Vedanta scriptures. So they tend to act in a worldly way, in the transactional, how in a transactional world they would actually behave. But since I have that knowledge, I do remind myself to abide to it, to try and follow that.
So you consciously think for
Yeah, yes,
yourself that
yes. Yeah. You consciously observe what you're thinking, and you know that this kind of thinking will not help you. It will kind of stress you out, or will affect your health. So you kind of take a step backwards, and you kind of question, is it worth it, and just then drop that.
Okay. That's how you are currently dealing with it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Has it helped you? Whatever the approach you have taken, is it helping you?
Yes, to a certain extent, yeah, it does help. It does help.
But do you feel it's complete, and is it enough, whatever the approach you've taken?
Yeah, but so sometimes you feel certain there is some, it's still unresolved, as in not completely gone away.
So you have a feeling, somewhere it is still there.
Yes, yes, yeah. The step, to consciously behave is in that moment. When you're thinking that way, but sometimes I feel that residue still sticks. It remains there. So.
Okay. Rupaji, do you have any viewpoint? What is your understanding? How do you deal with this?
Sir, I feel forgiveness is acceptance of the other person, sir. When we forgive, that means we have to accept that person as they are. But though I accept that person, I'm a bit careful uh, that this thing may happen even in the future. So the trust in that person is lost. I cannot trust that person, but I forgive and accept that person. Uh, and when it comes to rumor, we can't do anything to handle that situation. We can't go and tell each and every person that it is not like that. It is not so. Or we cannot change that this person who has spread the rumors. We can not change others, sir. And what in these situations, what can help, I believe, is um, being our normal self as we were before. We have to continue being our normal self, not getting affected by all these things. And uh, when we try to take control over these situations, uh, we end up in a mess, sir. So going with the flow and being our normal self only would help. This is what I feel. Earlier, I used to think how she or he can do this to me. I don't do this to that person. Um, and, and I tried to take control over that situation, sir. I tried to change that. And my behavior to this person was that I did not want to, I avoided that person. And all this made the situation worse. And I lost my peace of mind only. So after some considerable amount of time only, I came to know that all this is not going to work. I can't be it. Now I accept that person as he is, but I'm a little careful that this may happen in future also. I don't have that trust in that person.
Okay.
That I'll be normal. I'll be as if nothing has happened. I will do whatever needs to be done. I'll do my duties at that point in time. And I'll be there for that person in every situation.
So the approach you're taking, does it help you to remain calm? Or
Yes,
are
sir.
you only showing calmness?
No,
Internally,
no.
are you calm, or are you able to, is it only a display of calmness? What is it?
Let me think once, sir.
Yeah.
No, it is internal calmness only. I used to struggle in the earlier. I used to struggle a lot. I used to display calmness, but now it has become internal in me, and I accept that person. As Shilpa Kalaji said, it becomes easy when we are not living with that person. Uh, Earlier, it used to be like that for me, but I live with that kind of person on a daily basis, and I'm not affected by anything.
Okay. So that's how it is happening for you. So acceptance. And how do you practice acceptance? What do you do for acceptance? Is there anything that you do for acceptance? Or you said earlier it used to create resistance, but now there's acceptance. What has enabled that shift? How has that happened?
Acceptance means when we don't accept the person, we want them, we are expecting them something from them, sir. And we don't see that this person is like this. We can't do anything to change this. Now I see, now I know about people whom I'm living with, or people who are outside. They are like that and they are not going to change. We can't do anything to change that person. So, and I've noticed that it becomes easy with the person with whom you are dealing with on a daily basis. But when some outsider comes, or a distant family, a distant relative behaves in that way, it is a little bit difficult in the beginning, but then it will be okay. We will accept even that person also. I'm not good at it with the outsiders yet.
So what you are telling me is that you've come to some kind of you arrive at some kind of a conclusion that this is how they are, they cannot be modified. So why bother? So therefore,
Yes.
let me be at peace with how they are.
Yes, because I see many things going the wrong way on a daily basis, but I keep quiet. I don't bother myself with all that, because when we get bothered, we try to um, vent out our frustrations. We say harsh things to them, and that is not going to bring anything good for us. It will only destroy our peace of mind.
Okay. So knowing that, by not forgiving, I am only suffering. You are, but there is still a struggle. Is there not? There is still a struggle, or is there not?
There is still a struggle only with new people, sir. Only when it is an outsider, I struggle a little.
Okay.
And then I remind myself that if I take all these things to my heart, then I will be destroying my peace of mind, and uh, I I accept them also. But it is not as easy as I accept uh, the people at home.
Okay. How about Saravananji? What are the views from Saravananji?
Yeah, so I was just taking notes as I was listening. Yeah. So one is at least for our group, since we we are in this path of learning the truth. First thing is, by allowing the other to affect me, one, I'm giving reality to this world. The world is real. Okay, and then like I'm saying I and the world, duality, and I'm allowing that world to affect me, my state. Right, so but like we are always trying to at least like realize that like mm, I am complete and my state is not based on this outside world. And this is what I am trying to realize every day, right? And the moment I give reality to this world, what happens is like I start expecting that things should happen the way I want, which will make me happy all the time. And it's very simple that we have no control over what is happening around. Uh, right. So the more I try to get happiness with my expectations from outside, it's never going to happen. First of all, because things are like what I see um, in the transactional plane. What I see has I have no control. I have no control over my own body. How the blood flow happens, how the heart beats, right? Like what happens in the world, in everywhere, right? So it will continue to happen. So if I am trying to expect that like my day should start like this, it should go like this, then like that's where I think this biggest struggle fight comes, right? So um, that's one point, right? And coming to a particular person, I think the moment I carry, it becomes like I'm living in the past. This person said something, did something to me, so I'm going to hold that person in that form throughout, if I'm going to maintain it. But we all know that uh, from the point of view of me and the other, I am changing continuously, other is also changing continuously. So the one who affected the other, both have gone, both have changed, right? So knowing so that is also basically helps me to say that, you know what, I can whom am I holding on to, right? The person who did whatever, like, is gone, is changed, right? And if you ask me, then like, but this happened, the way I take it is like, it is as per the karma, prarabdha, my prarabdha karma, something had to happen. It may be through that individual as an instrument it happened. Okay, but I'm not going to hold on to the individual for what happened. It is whatever I did, and I'm facing the result. Right. So now, and how do I then, like, is there so forgiveness comes when I'm trying to hold that person real, right? The one who caused that suffering to me. So uh, the way I'm seeing it is like, you know what, everyone changes. So maybe today he or she did whatever because of ignorance. Obviously, everything is because of ignorance, and not you. I don't even have to guess. And we all have um, moved from ignorance to knowledge in this area. While at the same time, everyone will, if I'm going to get reality to that person will also get that knowledge. And the ignorance is what, like, either that person did something for personal gain, or didn't know the real information and did, and like miss and like did the wrong thing, right? And the person comes to know, they will realize that, oh, they made a mistake, right? Or that the other reason can be the self personal gain, right? And the more I think I open up, the others start seeing that, and they will also change if you take it in the again transactional plane, right? Because this me and the other, as long as it is there, we have seen, it is very obvious that um, everyone tries to get from the other. Be Since like I work with a lot of people, and this is how I am applying that. uh, when I feel someone is being difficult for me, if I try to reach out to them to help them even without them asking, and like show that like I do care and like I want to help, and then like that bridge forms, and like a relation becomes much more smoother the moment I show I care. Okay. And everyone, there is a gift we all have, that forgetting, right? And so the other person will also forget what they did wrong, and like good things can and will happen. It is just that like how hard I'm going to hold on to that old form is what is going to trouble me. And at the end, I feel like every situation is again a teacher learning something for us. And rather than I feel holding the other person responsible for some misery, I would like to see like what is the learning therein for me, and like how can I learn and like improve myself. I think to me it's all about improving the self, and realizing, understanding my true nature. My So maybe the other person is helping me realize, actually. Yeah, I think these are the things I felt I wanted to share.
Okay. So let's ask these simple questions. What is that one is trying to forgive? Because when we say, I have to forgive, what am I forgiving? And who is that who is
You are
forgiving, right? Two important questions. So there is something that has happened, and now there is someone is not happy with whatever has happened. If the one is happy with whatever that has happened, then this question is not even there, right? So it is a question of something that has happened between at least two, and whatever that has happened has left some kind of a residue in the one who's asking this question. So let's take a simple situation. There is a Krishna and Shishupala is abusing Krishna in front of all the people, using all nasty words. And when you look at it from the outside viewpoint, that abusing is unwarranted. There is no reason, unprompted, out of sheer hatred for Krishna, Shishupala is abusing. And that is supposed to create some feeling, some residue in Krishna, right? And now, if you were to look at it from Krishna's viewpoint, that is what Krishna has to forgive. What he has to forgive? Whatever that action that Shishupala did, and because of that action, whatever the thought that got generated in Krishna. And now, let's take it to you and me only. When I say there is something that is happening, right now there is a conversation that is happening between us. How it is happening? We are exchanging certain sounds. We are also exchanging some sights. If you've turned on your video, you're seeing whoever is speaking, you're seeing some video, which is a input to your eyes. You're also hearing some sound. And also in addition to that, there is something else happening in the surroundings, wherever you are. And this is how any situation of life is. In any situation of your life, you are there with these 5 senses. And through the different senses, different kinds of input is coming into you. Now, right now, as we are discussing, whatever the sound that is coming, whatever the sight that is coming, in your mind, if you have no resistance, meaning what? You're simply listening to this. It will simply come in. And you are simply looking at it in your mind. What is being said? What is the meaning of it? So you are simply seeing. Just like how, if let's say you are a watchman and you have been given a job, when people come in to the building, count. When people go out of the building, count. He'll simply count. So this is one way, like how it is currently, like a watchman way. There can be another way, which is, as this conversation is happening, I may suddenly have a thought. The one who is talking is simply trying to put me down, or simply trying to show his or her knowledge, or simply this person doesn't even know, is blabbering. Let's say I can have such thoughts in my mind. Now what happens? Same situation. The same situation, when it is coming in, it is now getting filtered through that kind of a thought. What kind of a thought? That the other person is either putting me down, or the other person doesn't know but is trying to show off, or the other person knows and is trying to show off. All these can be different kinds of filters in my mind. Between these two situations, or between these two ways of the same situation, what is the difference? Situation is the same. It is a sight, it is a sound, it is a smell, it is a touch, it is a taste. Situation is exactly the same. In the first situation, I am able to simply watch it. In the second situation, I have a certain additional thought. In the first situation also, in the first way of looking at the same situation, as the impression, as the signals are coming, what I see, what I hear, these are all the signals coming into me. As those signals are coming, I'm simply seeing them. I am not generating any response to that. I'm not reacting to that. I'm simply watching. Why? Because there is no other thought which is prompting me to judge that. I'm simply saying, one person came, one person went. This sound came, this sound went. What is the meaning of this sound? What is the meaning of this sound? I'm simply seeing. I'm simply seeing what it is doing when that sound comes, when that smell comes, when that sight comes, what it is doing in my mind. I'm simply seeing. As how a watchman would simply see people come in and go. That is the first situation, first way of handling the situation. But the next one is, the other one is where I have a thought. When I have a thought that, the other person is putting me down, or the other person is showing their knowledge, or the other person is ignorant but still showing off, any such thought, then that signal that is coming in, whatever the signal, what is the signal that is coming in? It is simply some kind of a sight, some kind of a sound, some kind of a smell. That's all. No, these 5 signals through your 5 senses. That's all you and I ever get in this life. Whatever that we call as life is nothing but based on these 5 signals, what gets constructed in the mind. Is it not? Now, in the second way of handling the situation, because I have a filter, now the same signal, same sight, okay? So let's say the same sight, that person, the look of that person, I may see the, let's say the frown on the face of the person, or I may say, okay, look, that person moved his eyebrows, and that is because he's trying to show off, or look at how his the smirk on his smile was. Oh, look at that smile, as if he knows everything. So the interpretation is dependent upon now this additional thought that I have. So then let's ask the question, who has this additional thought? Who has this additional thought? Whoever I think I am at that point in time. Whoever I think I am at that point in time. If a small baby is in the same situation, then for the small baby, it is like a watchman. Simply the signals are coming, and the small baby is simply letting the signals come and go. There is no who I think I am at that point in time. The small baby, a 6-month-old or an 8-month baby, is not yet thinking itself as I'm the mother, I'm the brother, I'm the sister, I'm the friend, whatever that, who I am, who I think I am. That whoever I think I am has not yet developed. What is that we call as ego sense? Ego or aham akara. Who I think I am. That is not yet developed. So therefore, whatever signal that is coming in is simply coming and leaving. Whereas in the second way, where the ego sense has developed, if let's say it's between a husband and a wife, who I think I am? Maybe husband. Who I think I am? Maybe wife. And who is the other one? Whatever the other role is, husband or wife. And how the other one is? I already have because I think myself as a wife. And from when did the wife role begin? It began from such and such a date when I got married. And who the other person is? Husband. When did he become the husband? From such and such a date. What do I know about the husband? Everything that has happened between this husband and wife. Where is that? In my memory, in the chitta. So when I look at the other person, because I am now taking the role of a wife, or I'm taking the role of a husband, the other person is the wife or the husband, and all the memories associated with that, I bring them into the picture. And now I'm interpreting the same signal through this filter. So therefore, the simplest question is, at this point of time, the stored memory, is that a reality? Is that truly there, who I call as my husband. Who am I calling as my husband? The one who I got married to 20 years, 25 years, or whatever the number of years back. If the husband is that body, you and I know that body is continuously changing. So, which body I am holding responsible for whatever that happened, say 20 years back? 20 years back, let's say that husband came and said, today you're looking very fat. Let's say something like that. I'm just making up. And now in my mind, I'm carrying that as a wife. Or, as a husband, the wife might have come and yelled, you are an idiot person. Don't you know how to handle this situation? So now I'm carrying that. Who said it that day? It came out of that particular person, no? That body, no? Now, is that body there? That body is no more there. Whatever that body is continuously changing, is melting away, is reformatting, is continuously shifting. So I cannot hold that body as responsible. Now, whatever I call as that other, it's not the body, but there is a person, there is a thought and feelings, what I call as the mind. Can I hold that responsible? Like how Saravanan said, just like how in my own mind, thoughts and feelings and impressions are changing, even that one is changing. So I cannot hold that responsible. See, because in order to forgive, first of all, I need to first find that fellow to forgive, right? And also I need to find who's trying to forgive. Because there are at least two. The one who has to forgive and the one who has to be forgiven.
Both are changing, both are gone.
So, who is trying to forgive who? So, the one who is trying to forgive is a thought. You know who I am? The wife. I got insulted. You know who I am? The husband who got insulted. So, that wife role or that husband role is trying to forgive the wife or the husband role. So, the one who is trying to forgive and the one who has to be forgiven, both are at this point of time nothing but mere thoughts in my mind. I have created both of them at this point of time. I'm giving prominence to both of them at this point of time. Because the action that caused this impression, that left a residue of some kind of forgiveness means what? What is the other opposite of that? Is some kind of a hate, right? I'm hating, right? It has left a residue of hate. How could he call me I'm fat? How could she call me I'm dumb? So it has left a residue of hate. So the hate, the thought of the hate, the feeling of the hate, that is what I need to forgive, right? That is what I want to get rid of. How? By forgiving. Who? The one who caused. But that action happened that day, and the one who did the action, and the one who received the action, and the one who stored the action, and the one who created the residue that it is hateful towards me, all these steps, all of these are no more there. Action happened that day. The body and the mind through which the action got carried out, who I call as other, is also no more there. And the body and the mind on which the action was received is no more there. So all the three are no more there. But today, the one who received the action, because I'm still holding on to the wife or the husband role, who received that action. And that whole wife or husband today, as a thought, again is cropping up in my mind and saying, he or she did that day, and that is so hateful. And now I come to a satsanga or a sadguru, and I hear somewhere, forgive, because forgiveness is divine. Or somebody may say, forgive, because if you are having hate, it is only causing harm to you. So forgive. So I am now trying to forgive. I want to forgive. Oh, forgiveness is a noble quality. Or, oh, forgiveness is going to make me peaceful. Let me forgive. Who is trying to forgive? Who wants to forgive? Who is that? Who thinks I have to forgive? Is that one who wants to forgive? Is that one really there? Who? Because forgiveness is again a play of the ego in one sense. The ego wants to take a higher pedestal. I will forgive you. I will forgive you. Go. I have forgiven you. Go. Why? I go to satsang. I am now on the spiritual path. So now I have developed the wisdom. So I will forgive. The other, I hope one day they will realize their mistake. That is not at all forgiveness. That is perpetuation of my own ego self. The ego self, which hated that action that happened, now has taken a morphed into this. See, that's why ego, no, is like a chameleon. The ego, the wife or the husband ego, which dealt with that situation and got into hate, now as because of the satsanga, because of Sadguru, has become a is a now a evolved ego self, and that evolved ego self is now saying, I will forgive you. It won't happen, because it is that ego self, the fictitious self, which is still perpetuating. So therefore the fictitious self is again and again going to crop up. Whenever that other person comes, I forgave you that day, and I'm still forgiving you, and I still carry. I forgive so many times, but this person is not at all understanding how great I am. I'm so merciful. So the game of the ego is going to continue. So now again, let us go back to the action of Krishna. Krishna was neither getting hurt nor getting insulted whenever Shishupala was acting the way he was acting, because there is no individual self, there is no ego self in Krishna. However, he is playing a role, and a particular role requires a particular kind of action to be performed. If you are, let's say, the driver of a bus, what is your role? You have to drive the bus. How? Safely. To where? To wherever you are supposed to go. Is it not? You suddenly cannot say, when you're driving the bus, you suddenly cannot say, I'll be a passenger and I will also close my eyes. Then you're going to lead to disaster. So as long as you're driving the bus, as long as you're playing that role, you have to play that role to the best. So as a ruler or as a king or as a person who is taken a role to establish certain decorum, certain way of life in a society, you have to discharge certain duties. So it is the notion of the duty in Krishna that made him do whatever he did. After the 100th time, Shishupala did what he did. Otherwise, keeping quiet can also be thought of as cowardice, and that can set a wrong example. So therefore, what is the role I need to perform and how I should perform that role? So perform the role in such a way that it brings out the maximum harmony among the involved. So one way of looking at it is Sama, Dana, Danda, Veda. Can I go and talk to the other person, and can the other person listen? Can I also listen to the other person's viewpoint? Then can we identify where this whole feeling of hate or this friction is happening? It may be the way I am saying what I am saying. For example, in our today's world, we exchange information or we exchange our thoughts and feelings through various means. Sometimes we write email, sometimes we write some message in a blog, sometimes it is an audio message. For example, I have seen in our professional world, most often people read intention and tone in the email. If let's say somebody has written some email about something that they want to do,
Very
and
much agree.
and let's say out of your lack of time, you simply respond, don't do it. Let's say that's all the 3 words you've used, don't do it. Suddenly there may be a big fiasco. The other person has escalated the matter. And then you go into the discussion. And then they say, how can they command me like this? Don't do it. Maybe you are driving, especially today, we think multitasking is a noble virtue. You are driving and everybody is in the rush of time. People are working from all over, and you're stopped at a signal. And in that signal, you know that another 10 seconds are there, and you still have an urge to respond. You simply respond, don't do it. You simply meant it as, don't do it. We will discuss some other alternative. You couldn't explain yourself. So don't do it. 3 words. And look, all the hell break looses. So Sama means, okay, so acknowledge that it was a mistake from my side. I should not have said, don't do it. Maybe I should have kept quiet, or maybe I should have wrote it differently, or maybe I should have just called up the person. Did I do all that? Maybe I did not. So a clap happens from 2 hands, this hand and this hand. So Sama means, can we come together? Can we discuss? Most often, once when we discuss heart to heart, the feeling.
Sir,
Yes, Rupai.
excuse me. Sir, can you repeat what you were saying just a minute back? Can you continue from there, sir? I'm really sorry, I got distracted.
No problem. So I don't know where I was a minute back, but let me see.
You were talking about the urge to respond, and people take it. People may take it in the wrong way.
Take it as wrong, yeah. So generally, what happens is, when we are dealing with situations, someone says something, and most often, we immediately want to be done with it. So especially as a mother, in the morning, you would be very well aware of this. tension in the house. Your child has to go to school, your husband has to go to work. If you are working, you also may have to go to work. Your maid may be there. Your mother-in-law may be asking something. So 10 people would be asking 10 things, and your mind is constantly rushing in terms of get it done mode. Your mind has gotten into get it done mode. Your son comes and says, I'm not finding my shoes. Uh, I kept it there only, just go and search. And suddenly your husband comes and says, I was looking for this book, yesterday I had kept it here. Where did you keep it? And he is also saying it in a slightly, rash tone. Then suddenly, your maid calls, Amma, water is not coming. So like that, most often, what happens in life, there are so many things happening, and the mind gets into get it done mode. Let me get done with this particular thing. So as soon as maid says, Amma, water is not coming, you shout back at her, hey, keep quiet for some time. And then husband, you say, how many times I should show you? It's there only, go and search yourself. So what has happened? I want to complete that work then and there. So in that same way of getting it done, you did not mean to insult, you did not mean to hurt them, you did not mean to do any such thing. You simply, because 10 people were asking 10 things, and suddenly in that moment you wanted to be done with that, so that your child has to go to school on time, your husband has to go to office on time, the maid has to complete the work, you have to go to office. So all these things are running in your mind. So therefore you acted the way you acted. You simply sent an email, don't do it. But that, how it affects the other person, what is the impact of that 3 words, you may not think through that. So this way of acting in life is what is called as reactionary way of acting in life. So now, like that, when we have reacted to different situations, and the other person may also have reacted, it leaves a residue. Because I may not be thinking through, when I say like this, what may be the impact on the other person. So maybe that day, that maid already has fought with her husband or somebody and come, and she's already crying and she's very sad. And again, when this instruction comes, she, it may just burst open everything, right? So that is how life situation develops. So now, what is the way to dissolve this? One is, when the situation is happening, how can I be responding rather than reacting? So that is a practice that I need to cultivate. How do I cultivate that? Whenever a particular reaction comes for a particular action, giving a small pause. So just becoming aware of my own body, and then looking at what kind of a reaction is coming in my mind. Is that the only way I can react, or is there any other way? Looking at some options and then responding. Responding means what? I'm very clear what is that I want to create. When I'm very clear what is that I want to create, then it is a response. I want to create peace, or I want to create movement. Sometimes, you may want to yell consciously because you want to create a movement. Otherwise, somebody may be totally lethargic. So therefore, first step is to respond, to practice how to respond in life, in every situation. Then coming back to that situation of where the residue is left, there is a feeling of some kind of a hate or something that I feel I need to forgive. So who I'm trying to forgive? With that person, can I have a conversation that this is what happened and this is how I am feeling? And can I listen to the other person's viewpoint? Will also help melt away that feeling many a times. But what is that is important? I need to step out of who I think I am. As long as I keep feeling that let the other person come and talk to me. Let the first step happen for them. They made the mistake, let them correct it. Then it's a never-ending game. What it means, I am perpetuating my fictitious ego self. The wife or the husband in me is feeling that way, right? That's what makes it very hard for that fictitious me, the ego self in me, to say sorry. It cannot step out. So, realizing that I am none of this, realizing that all this drama is happening, and I am like that child, the one who is simply watching, is what is going to help you to truly forgive. True forgiveness means realizing you are not any of this drama that is happening. You are none of these thoughts. The thought called the husband, the thought called the wife, and the thought called some friction is happening is the true forgiveness. Because there is no one else to forgive. No one to forgive, no other to forgive. Both are simply thoughts. How can one thought forgive another thought? The thought is there. What does it mean to forgive? So realize you're above this. Is the only true liberation out of this. However, till that ability to rise above, what is that? What does it mean? Till that realization is deep. Till then, how do I handle my situations of life where these things are happening? Sama, Dana, Danda, Veda. All these are management techniques. They're not root cause removal. So therefore, when we talk about any such situation, there is a how do I handle? How do I handle my anger? Take 10 deep breaths and then respond. It's a management technique. You've not removed the root cause of anger. How do I forgive? Okay, Sama, Dana, Danda, Beda. So like that, these are management techniques. But they don't remove the root cause. What is the root cause? Root cause is my own fundamental misunderstanding of who I am. So I think I am the wife. I think I am the husband. I think I am whatever that is. So therefore, I am getting insulted. Whoever I think I am suddenly creates a certain image. Is it not? If I think I am a husband, all the husband-related whatever I have learned from the society comes into me. Please see, different husbands behave differently in different parts of the world. So a typical American husband wouldn't be same as a typical Mangalore side husband. Or a North Karnataka husband. A North Karnataka husband may be so used to being a boss and ordering around. Maybe. I'm not saying it is so. Maybe. A American husband maybe is used to, wife also works, I also work. So we both share the load of the house. Maybe it's not so used to bossing around. Or maybe. So like that, what happens is in a given society, depending upon the environment we have grown in, we've imbibed various kinds of impressions. And whenever we are playing a role, see, for example, if I ask any one of you, play the role of Bhima. For a moment, in your mind, imagine how would you play the role of Bhima? Imagine for a moment how your body stature would be. Would you go like this? I am Bhima. Would you speak like that? Or would you say, I am Bhima? Look at how Saravananji's face is. Look, look, that's how it becomes, no? You are already, see, I am Bhima. I am Bhima. So all this suddenly come into you. How did it come into you? Because in your mind, Bhima is very strong. His voice has to be booming. He has to be very assertive. Is it not? That is how you feel Bhima is. Or if you feel for a moment in your mind, think of yourself as Shakuni. Think of yourself as Shakuni. How would you play the role of Shakuni? How would your body language be? How would your voice be? For a moment, imagine. Maybe you may want to, after this satsang, you may want to stand in front of the mirror and act. Or maybe you can take your camera and record yourself being Bhima, being Shakuni, being Draupadi, being Duryodhana, being Krishna. How would you be? Just record and see for yourself. See the difference. Each role has a certain information that you have about that role in your mind. For example, let's say a marriage is happening. Okay, new marriage. And the marriage has ended. And now the photographer is saying, oh, let's take the family photo. And the new husband and the new wife, and the husband says, okay, let's take the photo with my mother, father, and my brother, sisters. It is our family photo. And the wife also says, yeah, we'll also take our family photo. So now let's say we are taking the photo of the husband's side. Okay, so now the husband says, oh, mommy, papa, come and sit. So he says to the new wife, hey, come, let's stand next to my mommy, papa. But the new mother-in-law comes and says, Ayo, Kanna, why are you troubling her? I know you've been standing all for the last 4 hours. You must be really tired. You both sit and we will stand next to you. Okay, let's say they say like that. And, photographer is about to take the photo. Then suddenly somebody may come and say to that new mother-in-law, if you are going to make your daughter-in-law sit from today, at home also she'll be sitting and you will be working. From today only, you have to show her place. You should be sitting, she should be standing. So now, this is the way you may end up playing the mother-in-law role. Is that how it has to be played? Is that how life should be? Whoever said that daughter-in-law cannot sit and mother-in-law should stand? Who makes these rules? Who is accepting these rules as norms of society? This is how everything is. You and I, at the end of the day, you and I have clear notions in our mind about how a particular role should be played. How a father should be, how a mother should be, how a wife should be, how a daughter should be, how a daughter-in-law should be, how a student should be, how a teacher, whatever role you take in your life, each role that you're playing, you have accepted the way that role has to be played. So, based on how you have accepted that role has to be played, if you feel a mother-in-law has to be assertive, if let's say that is the way you're going to play the role with your daughter-in-law, is that the right way? You please see. Is it creating a harmony? You please see. Is it creating that feeling of bonding with your daughter-in-law? You please see. So how you should play that role? See what is that you want for yourself. Do you want, when you are playing that role between you and that other, a sense of harmony, a feeling of togetherness, or a feeling of heat, hate, worry, tension? So how I should play that particular role? because nobody can come and teach you that, because the society teaches whatever it is accustomed to. Society continuously teaches whatever it is accustomed to. That's why we keep saying, no, old habits die hard. It is foolish to keep straightening the tail of a dog. So all these sayings are there. But at the end of the day, fundamentally, it is I who has certain attitude towards the role that I think I am playing versus the other role and how that role should have been played. It's all about my own attitude in life. I can never ever control the others. I can never ever change the other. The only person, the only one who can ever be at peace in this life is me. How? By realizing my true nature, by realizing that I am playing a role. The role is for the transactional purposes, and who I am is not the role that I'm playing. Only that can bring end of need to even forgive. But some feelings bother us. So therefore, we have to practice forgiveness genuinely. Doesn't necessarily have to be outwardly, but in my heart, before I go to bed, I look at all the ones to whom I may have caused a sense of heat, anger, irritation. In that particular situation, I may be not exercising complete caution, or I may not be completely aware. So it might have happened. So please forgive.
Our prayer also survey.
A heartfelt prayer, a genuine prayer, where there is a genuine forgiveness, a seeking of forgiveness. And similarly, I genuinely forgive whoever might have caused a feeling of anger, irritation. If it is so deep in your mind, in your heart, then write it down. Write down the situation, the one who has caused that feeling in you, and what happened. Write all that. And then after you feel, you've emptied all of that, you may want to go in front of whoever you feel is, your guiding force in life. It may be your Krishna, Rama, or, your Sadguru, whoever it is. In front of them, keep a small pot of fire and say, "Oh Sadguru, oh God, please burn all these. I'm offering." We keep talking about arpana, no? We keep talking about offering. What is that I can offer to a Sadguru is actually this, is my feeling of hate, the feelings that are bothering me, the thoughts that keep come and haunt me. Offer it and say, "Please burn it away." Any other thoughts? Any other?
Perfect.
Sir, it was very nice session, sir. This session made me realize how I was boosting my ego by being very trying to be very divine. And thank you, sir. And one more thing, sir.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what is Samadhana Danda Veda, because I have heard these words in the past, but I don't know the meaning of these.
Sure. Sama means can we discuss and can we come to a consensus? So, for example, typically in a partnership, they say 50-50. So, whatever we earn, let us share 50-50. So, it is equal. So, it is like Sama. Okay, so Samana. Yeah, so we both are equal. It's like a husband and a wife are like the two wheels of the chariot called, our samsara. So we both have to turn equally. We both have to work equally. Are like the two, in a bullock cart example, the two bullocks which are carrying that bullock cart, both have to walk equally. That's a sama. So let us share, what I am good at. Let us take the help of whatever I need, but let us together make it happen. The feeling of where equality is there, sama. In some situations, however, dana is okay. Can I give up, or can the other person give up? More than can the other person give up, can I give up something that I'm claiming? So that will also help resolve. Some situations are better resolved through dana. Danda. In some situation, depending upon the role you are playing, you may have to bring about a certain transformation by penalty. As a police, you cannot simply sit and preach Atmajnana. In that particular situation, as a police, you may take the stick and you may beat the other person. That is how you bring a sense of control in that particular situation. That is danda. Bheda is the last resort. Surgical strike. You can first help them remove the terrorism from the mind. If that cannot be removed, you have to come into some kind of a negotiation. If that cannot be working, increase the level of your action by I'm going to penalize you, like that. They still are not listening, surgical strike. Again, depending upon the role you are playing. Bheda is to remove, is to separate.
Separate what, sir?
Whatever that is causing that particular situation. So in the case of, that's why the story of Krishna and Shishupala. So Shishupala was given 100 times the forgiveness. 101st time, his head was removed. Bheda. So like that, depending upon the role you are playing.
Yeah, but that is dandana, sir.
Danda is like using a stick. You're not separating. As an example, say a child is so addicted to eating a chocolate. As a sama is, first of all, come to some kind of an understanding. Can the child listen and understand? Can you explain? Maybe it is not happening. Then maybe dana is okay. So I'll give you in a rationed way. But if still the child is not understanding and it is causing some kind of a havoc in the child, then you may one day threaten the child. If you eat anymore, I'm going to beat you. Veda could be you somehow look at how to separate the chocolate away. You no more have chocolates at all. The child is crying. You have separated the chocolate from the child. So like that, depending upon the situation. Again, these are all management techniques. So like that, you can think of any number of management approaches. But the most important aspect to consider is whatever the management technique that you're adopting, what it is doing to you. How are you at the end of that particular whatever the approach you took. As long as you're able to peacefully, calmly handle any situation, you may have to peacefully show anger. It seems like a contradiction. You may have to peacefully show anger, because sometimes that is necessary, depending upon the situation. Does this bring clarity, Rupaji?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. Deepaji, how about you? Any comments?
No comments, sir. I'll try to apply whatever is being taught today. Try to practice, sir.
There is one small suggestion. See,
Yes,
when you
sir.
make up your mind, when you make up your mind, anything can happen.
Yes,
So
sir.
we tend to use the word try when there's a little bit of a doubt. So
Agree.
the way you say to yourself is the way it will all manifest.
I will do it, sir.
Wonderful. So the moment you say I will do it, then you start seeing, okay, how can I accomplish it?
Yes, sir.
Then you'll start looking for ways of making it happen. What is that what is that you want to make happen? You want to make happen for yourself a happy, healthy, peaceful state of being,
Yes, sir.
which is the most fundamental and most important step in life.
Yes, sir.
The greatest service you can do is by becoming happy, healthy, peaceful.
Yes, sir.
All right. So shall we end this? Shilpaji, you have any other points?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Saravananji?
Thank you, sir.
As I said last class, Deepaji is the guide to this session always. She brings up good discussions.
Thank you, Deepaji.
Sir, I'm finding solutions for all my problems through these sessions, sir.
Yes, Deepaji, you're helping us also.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Hari Om.
Anyway.